Have you ever noticed that your mind keeps working against you? You tell yourself not to worry, and then you worry even more. You tell yourself to stop thinking about someone, and somehow they become impossible to forget. You decide to stay calm. Then one comment, one message, one problem ruins your entire day. Most people believe they are thinking, but they are not. They are simply reacting. Their emotions pull the strings. Their fears make decisions. Their habits control their actions. And the worst part? Most people never realize it. They spend their entire lives believing they are in charge, while their mind quietly controls everything. The truth is simple. If you cannot control your mind, you will never truly control your life. And today, you're going to understand why. Most prisons don't have walls. They exist inside the mind. Think about it. A person receives criticism. They spend 3 days replaying it. Someone gets rejected. They spend months thinking about one conversation. A small mistake happens. Their mind turns it into a catastrophe. The event itself is rarely the problem. The problem is what happens afterward. The story the mind creates, the interpretation, the emotional loop. Neuroscience explains this surprisingly well. Your brain evolved to detect threats. Thousands of years ago, that kept human beings alive. The people who noticed danger survived. The people who ignored it didn't. The problem is that your brain still operates with that same ancient software. Today, the threat is not a lion. It's an email, a text message, a social media comment, a financial problem, a difficult conversation. Yet your brain reacts almost the same way. Stress hormones rise, your attention narrows, your emotions intensify, and suddenly, a small situation feels enormous. The mind begins creating stories. What if this gets worse? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough? And before long, you're suffering from things that haven't even happened. Many people spend years trapped in scenarios that exist only in their imagination, not because reality is controlling them, but because their minds are. The first step toward freedom is recognizing this. You are not every thought that enters your head. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every emotion deserves your obedience. Here's something most people never realize. Your brain is addicted to unfinished business. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. When something remains unresolved, your mind keeps returning to it. That's why unfinished conversations haunt you. That's why rejection stays in your head. That's why unanswered questions become obsessions. Your brain hates open loops. It constantly searches for closure. The problem? Life rarely gives perfect closure. Sometimes people leave without explanations. Sometimes opportunities disappear. Sometimes answers never come. Yet your mind keeps searching. Over and over, again and again. Imagine a man who loses an important relationship. Months later, he still thinks about it every day. Not because the relationship was perfect, not because it was meant to be, but because his brain keeps trying to complete an unfinished story. His mind refuses to let go. The same thing happens with goals, dreams, mistakes, regrets. The brain constantly reopens unfinished files. And if you don't understand what's happening, you'll mistake this mental process for reality. You'll think, I must still care. I must still need answers. I must still be missing something. But often, you're simply experiencing an open loop, nothing more. The strongest people learned something important. Not every question requires an answer. Not every story requires an ending. Sometimes peace begins the moment you stop demanding closure. Most people think mental strength means never feeling emotions. That's false. Strong people feel everything: fear, anger, disappointment, frustration. They simply refuse to become servants of those emotions. Imagine two men facing the same problem. Both lose a major opportunity. The first immediately panics. He complains, blames others, assumes his future is ruined. Weeks later, he's still stuck. The second feels disappointed too. But he pauses. He accepts reality. He evaluates the situation. Then he asks, what can I do now? Same problem, different mind, different outcome. This is where true power lives, not in controlling circumstances, but in controlling responses. Every day, your mind offers you choices: react or observe, complain or adapt, panic or think, follow emotion or follow reason. Most people never notice these choices. Their reactions happen automatically. Their minds drive the car. They simply sit in the passenger seat. But mental mastery begins when you create space between stimulus and response. A pause, a breath, a moment of awareness. That tiny space changes everything. Because inside that space, you regain control. Mental strength is not built during easy moments. It's built during ordinary ones. Every day offers opportunities to train. Someone criticizes you. Pause. Traffic slows you down. Pause. Plans change unexpectedly. Pause. You don't need dramatic life events. You need daily practice. Think of the mind like a muscle. Nobody builds physical strength in one workout. Mental strength works the same way. Small repetitions, every single day. One useful exercise is simple. Whenever you feel emotionally triggered, ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Not what happened, not what they said. The story. Because that's usually where suffering begins. Another powerful habit is learning to observe thoughts without immediately believing them. Your mind may say, I'm going to fail. That doesn't make it true. Your mind may say, they don't respect me. That doesn't make it true. Your mind may say, this situation is hopeless. That doesn't make it true. Thoughts are not facts. They are mental events, nothing more. The moment you understand this, your relationship with your mind begins to change. Instead of being controlled by every thought, you become the observer. And observers are much harder to manipulate by others and by themselves. Closing. Most people spend their entire lives trying to control the world around them. The strongest people focus on something far more important. They learn to control what happens inside. Because once your mind becomes disciplined, everything changes. Problems lose power. Fear loses influence. Distractions lose control. And life becomes clearer, calmer, stronger. If you found value in this message, take one lesson from it today. Just one. The next time emotion tries to take control, pause, observe, then choose your response. That small moment may change more than you realize. And if you're committed to building a stronger mind, deeper self-control, and lasting inner peace, subscribe to the channel and join us for the next lesson. Because mastering life begins with mastering the mind.